welcoming all of you to this really interesting panel going AI, way for innovation in debt collection. I have a very esteemed panel, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it. A lot has already been spoken, but I think it's an understatement if I say that AI ML is a transformative technology. Personally at Deloitte, working with banks across markets, I've personally seen innovators really look at AI as not just enablers to strategy, but actually differentiators to strategy, where your future business is determined by what AI could do. It's interesting that when we talk about the customer moving and debt recovery, we're talking about debt collections. I think it's an interesting use case. We always talk about front-facing customer experience use cases when it comes to AI, but I think this is pivotal simply because I think the journey for a customer, for an individual from being a customer to being a defaulter is difficult. And so while for a bank and a financial institution, it's about driving operational efficiency by 15%. Some report says AI could help drive operational efficiency by 15%, reduce costs by 30%. But for the defaulter, as he or she is termed, it is about how do you look at that individual, how do you personalize the strategy for that individual, how do you communicate with that individual, which is personalized. So I think with that, and of course, there is a regulatory landscape, there's checks and balances that financial institutions need to look at. With all this, I think I will come straight to this esteemed panel with my first question, and the question is that what are the most pressing challenges that you see in the current debt recovery process, and how do they impact both businesses and customers? So maybe Shashidhar, I'll start with you.
So good evening all. This is my first experience as a panelist, and so little nervous, but so I thought this is a thanks. First of all, I thank for inviting me as a panelist, and so I have been into this industry. I've been collecting for 3 decades now, 30 years, and so I have seen the collections also evolving, debt collections also evolving over so many years. So managing a large set of customers over the period of time. So I come from an era where every customer, virtually the strategy was the same: meeting the customer, trying to call the customer, and trying to talk to him, convince him. Then if he's not budging, meeting him in person. So that was limited to. So the strategy was that. And over the period now, AI and ML are newer terms in today's world, but we've been seeing these terms because we've been organizing ourselves basis what all data we have, what all limited information we have about the customer, and then organizing the data what we have, limited set of data we have, and then making a pitch that particular customer. So it was all individual customer oriented strategy, but now with the larger data, larger number of customers, large teams managing, so we have now also evolved ourselves to organize that data in a much better manner, derive at strategies, customer specific. So now it can't be customer specific strategies. Now I manage almost three different set of products. Home loans, where the customer is the ticket size is bigger, the customer is also evolved. Next is a personal loan, where also a customer is much aware of. Then thirdly, a set of customers like two-wheelers, where large customer base is new to credit. So these new to credit customers are also like looking at us as a for a experience, so we at collections are the first customer facing teams post the loan disbursement. So we treat ourselves as a sort of a relationship manager, also giving a experience to the customer. So organizing our teams to manage all these customers and basis what all information we have, what all limited set of information, because these days loans are processed in few seconds, and we have very limited, very minimal documentation also, because competition bahut hai. So we have to take a decision basis various algorithms. So the customer, when he comes into default, so organize. So one big challenge is addressing and giving an experience to that particular customer, because not all defaulters are bad. Most of them are maybe situational defaulters, and so we have to give them an experience, and giving uniform experience to a large set of customers, having a large teams and keeping them disciplined, making them give a uniform set of experience to that particular customers is one big challenge. So a little longish answer, but I thought it could be relevant. Yeah,
Thank you so much. I think very interesting. Anil, if I were to come to you on the same question.
Hi, good evening, friends. So I think we all will have long stories to say, because I think most of us, it's been 3 decades, in collections. Sorry. So this starts. So Ravindra sir spoke about looking at the ledgers, and they would understand that this is a mule account. So for us, the training before AI predictive came in, we were trained. When you talk to the customer, if he's looking into your eyes, which means he's going to pay you. In case he's looking left, which means he's going to avoid. He is evading the. He's not going to pay you. So those were the days. So yeah, we talk about traditional methods of collections and other things. I think what was new 3 years back has now become traditional. So that fast it is getting evolved. I remember those were the days when you had the stat cards, and you would remove the card, keep it on the table, call the customer, and then put a PTP, and then whatever the date is, the stat card would go into that date, and from that. So that was, say, 20 years back. I'm just talking about how the collections have evolved. Then came, obviously telecalling was there, you dialed the number, and the first time when people got a little happy was when the press phone came, instead of dialing the numbers. 5-10 years back, we were kind to the callers. We said, okay, let us give them an assistant to call, and that was dialers. With dialers, dialers and telecom all came together. So obviously telecom and dialers. So there was this huge burst of SMSs. So we all used to take pride. In a month, we sent 1.6 million SMSs. So this was like an era. The mindset was pray all and then pray. People will pay back. That was the mindset. And then, obviously, we have moved ahead, and now the dialers is also a traditional method now, Now comes the AI part, and obviously, sir has spoken, and all of us know about this. A lot of time it is also, we do a lot of things, but we don't know it is actually artificial intelligence. So, one is, okay, then we started creating these scenarios for the machine to understand, and then the machine used to talk, and whatever the customer is asking, and the machine would respond. It started with 3 scenarios. Today we are at 10, 12, and multiple languages. I think that age is also now very soon going to go away. And the next will come in, wherein looking at the responses, the machine itself or the dialers or it will start creating the scenarios and start responding to the customers. I think that is the stage where we are going to be. As sir said, okay, no, I don't think so. Humans are ever going to get replaced with this AI. But yeah, I think the biggest risk we all must be facing is with robos, you don't have attrition risk. Otherwise, you have a huge 40 lete ho, 20 chale jate hain. That risk is not there. I think that is the most important thing which we are all happy about. But yeah, I think collection is going to evolve. Next 5 years when we sit, we will be talking something else. Okay, I think that's how it's about collections now.
Lovely. So maybe I'll come to you, Anand. The same question, but because traditional is not traditional for you, because you've not spent 3 decades, what is your view on this?
No, rightly said. I think everybody talked about their journey and living how debt collection has evolved in these 3 decades. But I'll rather talk about an incident which happened today morning, which I got to hear from one of the founder of a collection agency, quite sizable, based out of Mumbai, have offices in multiple cities across pan-India, primarily in FOS. So just try to understand how their collection processes is. Still was like in a understanding that there could be something which has evolved in that, but still a lot of agencies hasn't improved. Maybe the look which lenders and NBFCs have started to kind of adopt towards debt collection has improved a lot, and they are the kind of ones who are kind of starting the journey to transform the debt collection. But the agencies who eventually outsourced a lot of these accounts and activities to do on debt collection is still lagging behind. What he said is there is pan-India presence of FOS agents, but in order to communicate and how this process looks like about the debt collection for a particular loan, a file gets sent from the lender side to a common system which the lender only provides to the agency, where the file gets downloaded by the lender. Obviously then it's not protected. The accounts in that basis the PIN code gets mapped to the agents, because the agents are mapped to certain PIN codes. They may be mapped to about 50 PIN codes in order to kind of do collections in that particular region. Once that mapping happens, that sub files are created basis the supervisors of a particular region. Those files are sent to them over email, and then you don't have an application where, let's assume there are 3 lenders job which an agency is doing. You would know that the agency would not have separate teams on the field for separate lenders. They would be trying to collect in a particular PIN code for 4 lenders together. So there is no way to kind of follow the process for all of these lenders respectively, and also kind of keep the data privacy in check. So they still are doing it like on an Excel file being sent to them, and then eventually the supervisor texts them their list of loan accounts on WhatsApp. So this is the whole process in which the final collection list kind of goes on to the agent, and the agent goes on like the field to collect all of this cash. Now there is extra human resource involved in the whole process. Why? Because there is no technology kind of adopted in the system in order to communicate whether payment has happened at the lender side or not. The agency has appointed some FOS support system in their central office to communicate between the lender and the FOS agent whether the payment has happened or not, or if there is any DND to be put on a particular customer because of XYZ reasons. There is a separate team just doing that. Now just imagine this is still so human dependent in the process with the agency is doing to is kind of taking to do those collections. And obviously the lenders have we have been interacting mainly with all the banks and BFCs, fintechs, in order to kind of proactively bring some platform so that data privacy could be kind of kept in check, the efficiency could be improved, scale could be brought in order to collect. Human dependency could be reduced, but nobody was focusing on the agency side, where trying to understand these pain points at the agency level as well is kind of quite important, because I guess 80% or 70% of the collection is still dependent, where outsourcing of these accounts happen to them and the collections are still carried out by them. So yeah, these are the challenges and needs to be fixed in the debt collections.
Thank you, Anand. Nilesh, I'll come to you. I think as one of the largest bankers in the country, how do you see complex compliances and regulatory frameworks in the debt collection space?
Nice question. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, first of all. Compliance is the heart of any process management, and so for collections. In collection, you get one escalation and the heartbeat starting faster, and no one wants to beat their heart faster. So as far as we keep compliance and process checks in control, you can have a healthy heart. That's what I take compliance in the collection process. Now, we have seen regulator has been kind enough to make a lot of changes in last 18-20 months, which is bringing a new wave in the compliance front on the collection side. And this is all good for the ecosystem and the industry, right? Looking towards keeping the customer as the focus, a lot of changes which are coming up. more the changes or the newness comes in the compliance, it becomes very difficult to implement them because you have to put a lot of resources there, and resource comes with the cost. Right? It becomes very difficult to implement those regulations which comes in, and that's where I believe a lot of AI tools or predictive analysis tools will help. Kind of a RegTech solutions which is empowered by or powered by AI will give the ease and bring the agility to adopt these changes which are coming from regulator, which we should be open to accept and get implemented. And the implementation will become faster, and at the same time, using the technology, it will give us a lot of cost benefit, which today we spend on the resources deployed for compliance. Though yes, it's a challenge, but then the challenge should be seen as the betterment for the future. Everything comes with challenge, so as compliance. So I see this challenge as a good challenge to accept and deal with it with latest technologies like AI and machine learning to do predictions and become more compliant to ensure that we deliver a better customer experience to the customers who are, we call it delinquent, but these are all situationals. We see very few who are intentional defaulters or situational defaulters, but then we should treat them with a different delight, a different experience, and that's where the entire compliance of collection is changing today. So I see this as a good challenge. We should take it and for the implementation for betterment.
Sure. Thank you. I think Rishabh spoke about calling the customer 250 times. What's your view, Anil, on the regulatory framework?
I totally agree with Mr. Dasari. It's a very, very important component. And why? Obviously, it is to safeguard. One is customer interest. Two is to have a fair practice, code across. I think, a lot of us, maybe, crib at times gets too stringent. It is, it's increasing our cost. There are a lot of things which are not doable, other things. But I think it is only fair to say this was anyways coming. The reason for that was, and I don't know, I should be saying this, but a lot of our products were sourced or sold looking at the collection strength and not the customer evaluation, whether customer would be able to, So when you do businesses where you look at the collection strength, so I think this was coming. Second point, he spoke about customer. Obviously, there have been rules, and I think it is important we follow those rules. You spoke about 250 times. I sometimes pity the caller because the callers have been told in an hour you can attempt the customer 3 times. I sometimes wonder if the caller has to manually count when she is dealing with say 400 customer, how will she keep it track? इस customer को आप phone कर दिया अभी 15 मिनट के बाद मुझे करना है. And obviously there were the dialers and the artificial intelligence. And now today we are very smart. We know the best time to call the customer. We know which is the best place to call the customer, at what time he is traveling and other things. In collection, we also speak about a lot of NCs. We speak about NCs and we say no contact. While we also speak on the other side, 97% of our customers are always current. That's the statement most of us give. 97-98% of our customers. So finally, we are dealing with those 2% customers who could be situational, circumstantial, or intent. So for that, obviously, it is important we know which is the right segment to call and what time should we call the customer. Sometimes the customer, the other important part, on the one side when we say it is a no contact, on the other side we make lakhs and lakhs of calls, but we always forget that there is no inbound where the customer can reach us in collections. So I think those are the important things. Once we address that, I think regulatory thing it's going to be there. It's not a debate whether how it is not a zero. It's not going to be a grey area. It is going to be one, and it is supposed to stay that way. And there are tools. If you find in collections, we are also told a little assertive call can be construed as an aggressive call. We can always have voice analytics. The voice analytics actually tells you what was the tone, what was the method, how did the customer feel, how did the caller talk. So those are the things which can counter a lot of this restriction, and we can still, the customer can be a winner and we can equally be effective in our collections.
Very nice. I'll move on, Shashidhar, back to you. How have you seen AI/ML really shift the entire debt collection from being reactive to really proactive?
Yeah, this is very relevant in the evolution of collections. So earlier it was we would wait for the bounces to come in. The customer would dishonor the instrument or the mandate which was given, and then we will start the follow-up. So now, we see lot of data which we have, or lot of information, not just the information with us, available with us. I always keep telling my team that the customer has given you certain set of information points while the loan was sourced, and we have to know little better about the customer than what the customer feels you know about him in order to collect in a more effective manner. So the data, what all sets are available through legitimate means, maybe the customer's information or pattern with us, customer's pattern which is in the recent past with other financiers which is available through the bureau. So we have started making certain set of within the sections of the customer. So we segment the customers. We start early where we say that we will arrive at certain set of customers who are most probable to bounce. So they are not actually bounced, but this will be like a proactive approach where we make a certain set of customers who are most likely to bounce. We use certain PDM models, pre-delinquency management models, where we educate these customers that they should be, because their bureau history will be critical for their future. So we for these certain set of customers, we approach them through a omni-channel approach, where the customers are called. We arrive at certain deciles basis the analytics data, and which is made out of a lot of variables about on the information about the customers. Then these set of customers, then actually if we educate them and they don't bounce, so a few of them don't dishonor. They were most likely to dishonor the instrument, but some of them post these calls, they opt not to, and they clear. So these set of customers who are coming into the delinquency itself get controlled. So we all are into flow management. Collections is a flow management. So big waterfall is there on the bounces, so we can reduce the bounces. We can work towards educating the customer, reducing the bounces. That will bring lower flow to the collections. So organizing what all data we have, and then adopting strategies which will help us in not only managing the flows, the customer flow which is coming to the collections, but costs also. Giving a better experience to these customers basis what all past trend we have. So a certain set of customers within when the customers bounce also. So we have a certain set of customers whom we don't call also. So we just use the past data. We nudge them through a message or through a voice blast, and they pay. So a lot of customers cure themselves. So we call them a self cure. So this data is neither going to the call center, neither going to the field. So this customers, and these customers are happy because they no matter how much we educate them, they have still bounced. But maybe they were situational defaulters, so they had an opportunity to cure their account and they get it cured. Then this was my lowest cost channel. So I collect from a certain set of customers. Then these customers move to an internal call center where our own employees call. So that is a better experience for the customer. So we have a certain set of customers who are good enough through one call they will pay. So this is my second lowest cost of channel, but they give a better experience to the customer. Then it goes to the external call centers, and lastly they go to the field. So if we manage the flows well, a large set of customers get cured through a low cost channel also, and giving the customer also a better, when the customer has to be referred on field, that is when and very small set of customers going there, that is when the customer will have a little, because one-to-one interaction, and it could lead to some harsher things which we, so because it is a largely external agency model, so we keep that flow minimal. That will help us in controlling the costs also, and help us in giving better customer service experience also, and that will lead to better compliance also.
Yeah. I think Anand, I'll come to you and I'll go one step ahead, saying that how do you look at large volumes of customer data, use AI, and then really create patterns, behaviors that you can make good decisions based on that.
To start off with, we at Credgenics do have about like 4 crore odd customers, unique customers on our platform till date, who may have either been delinquent at least once across different kind of products, and maybe across different kind of lenders. On an average, we have seen that it's 1.8, 1.9 is the average loans which a customer has taken and has defaulted on these accounts. So that's primarily kind of the sizable data which we are currently sitting on. But to talk about large size data today, I think ChatGPT has learned what all humankind has kind of been able to learn till date. Like maybe a fraction of, in some months, the training of ChatGPT has enabled it to kind of answer any question, any kind of suggestion. If you want to plan a trip, you kind of ask the ChatGPT. If you want to do anything, maybe you want to like ask some questions around general knowledge, they will answer you. All of those is quite simple because it has learned all of what humankind has ever been kind of gotten to know or has kind of innovated. All of that is now known to ChatGPT. So I think what models enables us is to learn the patterns. So the patterns, if there is some visibility of that pattern in the data, the model learns that and tries to kind of predict the next outcome basis a similar pattern visible whenever that comes to that model. So similarly, there are two kinds of predictions which happens. One is when a new customer comes. When I say a new customer comes, it is a new delinquency customer has kind of come on our platform, or a customer who's kind of delinquent for the first time. We try to understand the demographical data of that customer, try to match that data with other set of customers who have similar demographics, and how's the behavior of these similar customers kind of tends to become the signal for the new customer entering that particular delinquency bucket. So that is the data which kind of gets used to kind of say, okay, this customer may be a low intent to pay kind of a customer, and there are different kind of strategies you would want to take and kind of use for the debt collection of such customer. And a customer who has been a habitual or a customer who has been delinquent on your platform and has come again and again over a period of time, maybe multiple times or not so multiple times, then in that case you already know not just the demographical data but also the behavioral data which he has kind of acted on different communications and engagements done on collection activities. Put together, you are more informed to take a decision in order to like collect from such customer, and that kind of not just saves tax, saves cost, but it also kind of allows you to kind of scale up at much faster rate and reach out to the customer in a much targeted way.
Thank you. I got a botch it on the time, so I'm going to come to the last question. And Nilesh, I'll come to you. What, according to you, digital transformation, automation tools will do to change the debt collection, let's say, ecosystem?
I think technology and digitalization is the way forward, as we all know, even in collections. What it can bring a big change in this entire process is the customer experience. And that's what should be on top of the mind for all of us while we use technology and digitization which is easily gives you a scalability, gives you an opportunity to to improve the service levels, quality levels. At the same time, it also gives the benefit of cost reduction, right? But on the top of the mind, while we do all this digitalization, should be the customer experience. And that's what is going to be a big change, what I see in the industry.
So customer experience for Nilesh, Anil, for you?
It's about the customer experience. The bank is available to the customer 24/7. I think that piece, because it's a robo. Whenever he wants to connect with the bank, he can always connect with the bank, and bank will respond to him. So it is at the convenience of the customer. The other one is the good customers. So basically, you create a workflow where you segment the customer, and each segment of customers are treated a little differently. That helps, and so it is like you have, like he spoke about, you have a group of delinquent customers. You just put them into subgroups. So it's a no touch, some communication, telecalling, and so that's the experience I think most of the customers today want. It's the most cost effective. The third one is the customers then starts trusting them. A lot of times today, it also helps business grow. I have seen this, the good customers also look at, in case something goes wrong and if I default, how is the bank going to treat me? And basis that they come to the bank for their lending needs. I think that this also improves then the business. I think these are the three important things: cost, customer engagement, and the right approach to the right kind of segment.
Shashidhar, what would be your 2,
Compliance
3 compliance? Okay, compliance. Okay, great. Anand, any last word that comes to your mind?
No, I think everything is covered already.
Okay, all right.
Cost optimization.
Cost optimization, efficiency, I think segmentation, communication actually. So I think thank you so much. I think it is really great to hear all of you. Thank you. Thank you everyone for your time. Thank you.